So I went to the B&O Museum in Baltimore. The B&O Museum is housed in the Montclair station, which is the oldest station on the B&O Railroad. It's an amazing museum for people who are interested in early railroad history. There's the Montclair station. Here's the first stone of the B&O Railroad. And here is the only surviving components of the Sturbridge Lion, which was the first steam engine in America on a railroad. Here's the inside of the roundhouse. Again, many early steam engines, the grasshoppers and the crabs. B&O was amazing to collect and save so much of their early steam engines. They also had some reproductions made. This is the Nova Scotia coach. For some World's Fairs and exhibitions, the B&O hired one of their people to recreate some of these finding old equipment and surviving early steam engines to tell the whole story of the early B&O Railroad. Pangborn made some wooden replicas of some things that no longer existed. Here's the Memnon, which is an early freight engine. The B&O Railroad really does have the best collection of pre-Civil War 19th century railroad equipment. There's the Pioneer from the Cumberland Valley Railroad, a very small but speedy 222. The Pioneer was damaged in the Civil War during a raid on their roundhouse. Here's the so-called William Mason engine. It was a 440. Supposedly this engine was used to pull Abraham Lincoln's funeral train. In the 1990s, it was restored and used to film the movie Wild Wild West. Since then, it has been restored to its Civil War era appearance. It's really quite beautiful paint job. Here's a camel, a later camel, not a Winans camel. As you can see, the cab is built over the boiler. Ross Winans, the Winans company, was adjacent to this museum location. It no longer exists, but he came up with this idea of putting all of the weight on top of the drivers. Winans camels tended not to have pilot or trailing wheels. Here's an early mogul. If you're interested in early railroading, you really can't go better than visiting this museum. Both the location and the collection are really outstanding. Here's an early electric switcher, very small, but a big cab. Here's a bobber caboose. It's unusual to find these because they were outlawed so early. It has the 4 wheels. Here's a shay. Here's an early narrow vestibule passenger car. This car is decorated for the B&O, but it actually is a Central Railroad of New Jersey car. And here's a C&J Camelback. Unlike the Camel, they run on the side. Some early other passenger cars. Postal sorter. These are really interesting. It's neat to see them unrestored. Here's a clearance car. Here's the Clinchfield 460, which was restored and run in the 70s. Here's the inside of the roundhouse. It really is quite striking, and collapsed a few years ago and has been completely restored. Outdoors, they have some other more modern cars, including this giant reefer and an older reefer, ice-packed reefer. In another building, the former paint shop, they have some other vehicles, including this Merci car from France during World War II, an EA, as well as some really quite nice early models, large-scale models of different important evolutions in engines, steam engines. Quite a nice collection. It's an elevated forney. I hope you enjoyed this look at the early equipment on display at the B&O Museum. And if you did enjoy it, I have lots more early 19th century steam and railroading